My name is Maui, and this is my first ever YouTube video. This series is going to follow my adventures on Pokepong, a modded Minecraft server that I play on with my friends. It is focused around the Cobblemon mod, and it's also got tech and magic and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's a ton of fun, and I really hope that you'll enjoy it just as much as I do. A little bit of a base going here. Server started about a week ago as of recording this, and I went ahead and took that time to just get the basics set up because, you know, I mean, we've all seen the beginning of Minecraft a million times, even if it is modded. It's just the beginning, and I'm still very much in the early stages. A bunch of the other people on here have like endgame gear already, and I'm still rocking basic iron. But figured I should just take this opportunity, since it is the first episode, and just give a little tour of what's going on. Then the illustrious spawn. Now, I hear what you're immediately thinking. Maui, this world is a week old and you've already got all this? No. So the way this server works is this area that you see before you was built ahead of time in creative mode by the admin Dorpong and some of the other players as well. So this building here was already here when the world started, as was Boat Lord over there. Look at that. Look at that majestic face. What a handsome fella. And the Poke Center over here was also built before the server started. Over here, we have some player houses. These all were built within the last week. Rather impressive, I must say. As was that building. And basically, just everything that isn't this building, and Boat Lord. Oh, and the mine over here was also here already. And then we have my base. Yeah, not great. The server actually started the day before my work week started. So I haven't been able to play in the week that everyone else has been playing. So, you know, that kind of sucks, but it's alright, though. Because we're going to catch up. We're going to grind. And they will know true power. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I suppose now would be a good time to talk about, what the plan is. So, we have a cool mod on the server called Oritech. I've never played with it before this, and it's pretty cool. It's got these machines. They're basically just really fancy furnaces. You can use them to process stuff, right? Pretty simple, standard modded Minecraft stuff. But this mod adds, dare I say, some crazy shit. Specifically, it adds a particle accelerator. And that is my end goal. I want to get a particle accelerator because it allows me to, shall we say, rend space-time asunder. That's all I'll say for now. But my plan here is I'm going to build an underground laboratory base inspired by Black Mesa from Half-Life. And I'm going to build a particle accelerator, and, well, if you've played Half-Life, I think you know where this is going. Let's just leave it at that. I spent what little time I had last week building up this little setup here. And basically, what this allows me to do is turn a little bit of ore into a lot of ingot. You take your ore, you stick it in this thing, and you get some stuff out. Then you take these and you put them back in this thing. And they turn into these guys. Clumps and small clumps and small clumps, but a different flavor. And then you take these clumps and you stick them in this thing, and it spins them around. Actually, let's demonstrate that. I'll put some water in it first. Take the clumps, put them in the centrifuge. They get spun around, as you can see, going for a little ride there. And they will turn into these gems, except these will be nickel gems, not iron gems. Then you take the gems and you put them in the foundry, and it will smelt 2 gems into 3 ingots. So basically you can turn a single raw ore into 3 and a little bit ingots. And the full conversion ends up being 3 raw ore to 12 ingots, which is pretty crazy, to be honest. Especially since this took me like a day to set up. Maybe like a day and a half. And I'm going to use this to the fullest extent, because I'm going to need so many resources, specifically iron, because, as you also may have gathered, we have the wonderful Create mod. Everyone's favorite tech mod. Okay, probably not everyone. I'm sure there's one Create mod hater out there, but we'll pay them no mind. I am going to use the Create mod to do most of the digging for the underground base, because I do not want to do that by hand. And Create mod adds drills, and you can put the drills on a contraption and basically make a mining machine or a tunnel bore or whatever you want to call it. And so that's the goal. And for that, I'm going to need a ton of iron. You can see here, the drills, they cost 1 iron ingot and some andesite alloy. Technically 4 alloy, because this also needs 1. And each andesite alloy, if you're doing it the efficient way, needs an iron nugget. So I'm going to need a lot. And I could go mining, or I could make an iron farm. So that is the goal for today's episode. I want to have a working iron farm at the end of it. Before we get started on that, I'm going to need some better gear. As you can see, and as I said earlier, I'm just rocking this basic iron. You know, it does the job, but come on, if I'm on my mad scientist arc this season, I'm going to need some appropriate armor. And that is where the exosuit comes in. This armor has not the greatest protection. It's actually looks like it's the same as iron, but it gives a bunch of boosts. So the helmet grants night vision. The chest plate charges equipped energy items and can be upgraded into a jetpack, that's really what I want. The leggings make you faster, and the boots prevent all fall damage, which is kind of nuts. And as you may have noticed, they are unbreakable. These don't need unbreaking, they don't need mending. And that's what we're going with. These are not crazy expensive. All this stuff looks kind of scary, but it's not that bad. I actually have most of the stuff to make these, so I'm going to get on that. So I'm going to be doing these one at a time, because it's just so much easier that way. You can see here, I've got all the things laid out, and this is all the ingredients we're going to need. This stuff here is Enderic Compound. It's made by just crushing up an ender pearl. I had some laying around from last week, so I'm just using it here. Where do we start? Well, let's start from the end. We've got our compound. Next, we need to turn our charcoal into coal dust, so we do that over here in the fragment forge. Then we take our coal dust, put it in the centrifuge. No water required this time. That's going to spin these up into carbon fiber strands. Next up, we have our adamant ingot. So we're going to come over here to the foundry, put in our diamond and our nickel. There we go. And then all of these combine in the assembler into an enderic lens. That is the first part of the helmet done. Next, we need to make these reinforced plating blocks. And so we're going to turn wheat into plastic. Don't ask me how that works. I don't know either. Let's craft our wheat into this sponge-looking thing. This then has to go in the centrifuge with water this time. Put this in here, and that will turn into raw biopolymer. We take this, run it through the centrifuge again, and there's our plastic. With our coal dust, instead of making carbon fiber strands, I'm going to put these in the foundry, because I need 2 steel ingots. These are going to be used over here in the assembler to make our reinforced plating blocks. And there we go. And then just normal crafting table. Boom. Exo helmet. So, I'm going to go ahead and get on with the, what is it? We'll do the legs next. Save the jetpack for last. We are going to need some plating, of which I have prepared some more. And we're going to need a motor. Make a motor, pretty simple. Just got to take out some, what is this? Copper, nickel, some ingots. Put them in here, make fine wire out of that. And we take our wire and a steel ingot, of which I also prepared earlier. Make magnetic coils, nickel and steel into motors. Easy as that. And boom. Got a little bracing on the back of my legs there. And now, look how quick I am. And I got, hold on, let me turn the bunny slippers on. Oh yeah, got my bunny slippers making me jump high. Hell yeah. Already have everything that I need for the boots. It's literally just 2 silicon and 2 reinforced plating. And silicon is made from smelting raw silicon, which is made from quartz dust and sand, and quartz dust is made from pulverizing, fragmenting, or crushing quartz. Pretty simple. And there we go. I no longer take fall damage. Best boots ever. Let's just go find a pit to hurl myself into. Yahoo! What? It made like... Oh, no. That was the... It was like a servo noise. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. I thought that was the bunny slippers crying out in pain, but no. Working as intended. Gonna have to go on a little bit of an adventure. The jetpack actually has 2 recipes. And while this one is, while I could make this one with what I have, this one is cheaper, but I don't have blaze powder. So, let's go get some blaze powder. Unfortunately, I am quite poor, as you've seen. So, gonna have to use someone else's nether portal, which luckily is right next to a nether fortress. Oh, it seems someone else has one as well. He's pushing him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh! This is not going well for me. Oh, and keep inventories on, by the way. Pretty nice. We've had gravestones in the past, and, we got tired of it, so keep inventory. What's going on up? Is that a blaze spawner? Somebody make a farm? Waystone? What is... Man. Blaze. Alright, I guess it is a blaze farm. And endermen, apparently. Come on, spawn. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there There we go. Oh, shit. I have made a grave error. Oh. The requisite materials. So let's get to it. Step 1, jetpack. Boom. Easy. Portable tanks. Gonna need 2 of them. Done. Energite ingot. Go over here. Slap these in. This is called fluxite. You can make it with this cool laser thing shooting at amethysts, or it can come out of platinum ore when you smash it up and centrifuge it and all that good stuff. Alright. So, grab our energite, and we need electrum as well, just gold and redstone in the foundry. Now that we've got our battery, take our, whatever this is, make the exo chest plate, slap them together with some plastic and the tanks, and boom. They call me the Tony Stark of Pokepong. Alright, sick. I actually don't know how to use this thing. To be completely real with you guys, no idea. There's gotta be, like an item charger or something, right? Equipment charger, there we go. This guy. Once again, 2 ways to make it. A redstone block or a processing unit. Why would anyone choose? I guess, technically, I guess it... Depending on how you look at it, it could be cheaper. I think we're gonna go with the redstone block, though, because redstone is super easy to get. Let's see, so we need dispenser, 3 chest, 2 energy pipes, block of redstone, 2 steel ingots. Pretty simple, except, and all my energy pipes are currently in use. I guess I could, like, relocate these. Yeah, alright. I suppose I should, this is a perfect time to explain how most of these Oritech machines work. So you have your, like, base block. In this case, the assembler. Alright, we're gonna put it here. Place it down, and it's just this little guy. And if you click on it, you can see it gives you this sparkly outline, and it says it needs machine cores. So, you take these machine cores, and you slap them on, and then you right-click, and you get this really sick deploying animation. You may also be wondering about the signs and, well, that one I just removed. I have a research assistant, shall we say. They're not playing a whole lot this season, but I'm still, I'm still keeping them in the loop about things. You might see them appear in later episodes. So I got the energy pipes. I'm gonna need 2 more steel ingots, because everything in this mod needs steel. And 3 wooden chests. Pretty simple. A sawmill here. Very useful block, like a stone cutter, but for wood. And a dispenser. For which I literally have no cobblestone. I spent it all on nickel. Over at spawn, at the gas station, you can't see it from here. There's a Steve over there that sells the Oritech ores, because the current version of Oritech is, it's a little bugged. It doesn't generate any of the like world gen stuff. No ores, no oil, nothing for now. We just have a guy at spawn that sells the things. He doesn't sell oil. Gonna have to get on that. There we go. Get this guy hooked up. Ooh. 5 million? Why am I just now processing that? 5 million RF. Yeesh. While we wait for that to charge, I believe it is time to get started on the Create mod. Yes, the old faithful. If you're not familiar with the Create mod, it adds spinny stuff, things that rotate. It's really cool. You've probably seen it, even if you don't know you've seen it. You can use it to make, like, moving builds and cool sliding, rotating doors, all kinds of cool stuff. But what I am interested in today is making an iron farm. Now, of course, in vanilla, you can make an iron farm by getting some villagers, scaring them with a zombie, spawns golems, you know the drill. But create allows you to do it a different way. You can take cobblestone and crush cobblestone into gravel. Apparently you can do it with the pulverizer, didn't know that. But you can also, and what we're going to be doing is using the crushing wheels from Create. You can crush cobblestone into gravel, and then wash gravel into iron nuggets with a 12% chance. So the rates aren't great, but making a cobble generator, pretty cheap. Making a bunch of crushing wheels, not as cheap, but certainly doable. So yeah, not really sure how crazy I'm going to go with the iron farm yet. It's probably just going to be a temporary one, and then we'll make a bigger one down below when the time comes. So, I'm going to get on that, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Jarvis, activate my grind music. Tragedy has struck this day. Long it has been since I fucked up a cobblestone generator. And yet here we are. I don't have a diamond pickaxe. So instead of breaking this the slow way, we're gonna go on a little expedition. And, borrow one. Hopefully. But, before we do that, the farm's basically done. So, let's talk about it. Here we have, just a very basic iron generator, Create mod style. But if you're familiar with the Create mod, you may notice a couple things back here that look strange. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's how this is, supposed to work. You have a cobblestone generator up top. This drill breaks the cobblestone, which then gets deposited into these crushing wheels. Crushing wheels do exactly what it says. They crush the cobblestone into gravel. The gravel then falls down onto this conveyor belt where this, where these blue particles are. These blue particles are, like water, air. Basically the fan, this fan is blowing through the water, and it will wash the gravel, which fills up this conveyor belt. And then you've got this little... Oh my goodness gracious. Get out of here, I'm trying to explain the machine. You've got this brass funnel with a filter in it. This filter is set to deny gravel. So the gravel will only go into this chest once it has transformed into iron and flint. Now, about these strange parts on the back. As you can see at the top, these are from the mod Petrol's parts. Very cool Create add-on that adds these neat little additional pieces. So you got the double cardan shaft here, which allows me to just curve this shaft up and around. And then this is called a planetary gear set. You can see it's got like teeth in the middle and then around even more. And what it actually does is it's like a large cog, except the teeth rotate the opposite direction as the shaft, and they rotate, what is it, half the speed, I think? So I am using this to transfer the power diagonally without changing the speed, right? So normally when you go from a large cog to a small cog, the small cog is twice as fast as the large cog. That's still happening here, but the outer teeth of this planetary gear set are going half the speed of this shaft. So you've got shaft speed divided by 2 times 2, and it ends up being the same. Pretty cool, right? And another cool thing about this setup is that, let's say I built all this and realized, oh no, the fan is turning the wrong direction. Well, all I have to do is move this to the other side, and just like that, the fan is pulling air in instead of blowing it out. Very, very neat little setup there. Now, let's fix that cobblestone generator. I feel like the odds of someone having a diamond pickaxe just laying around is pretty low. But, you know, we got some crazy people on this server. You never know. 9 diamonds. Oh my... What? Weekly has so many diamonds. Oh my god! I mean... Surely they wouldn't notice if 3 diamonds just happened to go missing, right? Let's see, what about this guy over here? I think some Canadian lives over here. I don't really know what's up with that. Ah, by cheating, I have revealed the answer. Oh, there's literally just a pressure plate. I'm dumb. Waystone. Yes. Damn, Grady, how poor are you? Are you poorer than I am? Well, now I definitely gotta steal from you. Stealing 1 cobblestone. Well, I tried. Remember, chat. Remember, guys. Stealing is bad. You know, it took me longer to go around and search everyone's stuff than it did to just break the obsidian. I'm very smart, I promise. Alright, let's get this thing fixed up. You can't just leave your water free-flowing. Gotta contain it. Man, if only OSHA existed on this server. As I was saying, you gotta contain your water. So it doesn't, get everywhere and turn your lava to obsidian. And... done. Now I just gotta hook the drill back up. Yeah! Yeah! Now, a smart person might just throw out the flint. I'm not throwing out the flint. Make of that what you will. However, as I showed earlier, flint can be used to make these, Wait, these are downgrades? Why would I want this? Oh, you can make andesite with it, though. I feel like that's not very useful, though. Like, I would just make a... It's like, I don't need it now, you know? Anyways, I'm keeping the flint for now, because I don't care to make a smart shoot to get rid of it. Feels good, don't it? Got the iron flowing in. Now we just gotta wait for it to pile up. And while it does, let's talk about next steps. As you saw earlier, I have crafted a drill for the iron farm here. And next on the agenda is I need a whole lot more of these, because I'm gonna make a mining machine to drill out the base. So, let's talk about the plan. Currently, this big old pumpkin is basically just my spawn chamber, right? There's a bed in it, fancy door, some decorations, and that's it. This pumpkin is going to be replaced with a little shack. It may not be in that exact spot, but I'm thinking that's a good place for it. So we're gonna put a little shack here, and there's gonna be a key card swipe to get in. You go in the shack, and the inside of the shack is going to be an elevator that takes you down. I'm not exactly sure how deep. I'm thinking probably around Deep Slate level. Like the start of Deep Slate will be the highest extent of the facility. Not really sure what I'm going to do about this amethyst, because I kind of was planning to put a room literally right where it is. So maybe could make some kind of cool centerpiece out of it. As I mentioned earlier, we've got those like lasers that can mine the amethyst for a special resource. So might do something with that. But regardless, the plan is to have an elevator coming down here, and then basically have a big hub room that it immediately like opens into. There's a creeper playing music here. In that hub room is gonna be, or I should say, off to the sides, there's gonna be like a bed chamber. There's gonna be probably storage access in that room. And in that room, there's going to be a map of the facility. I want to have like a train map almost. I don't think I'm gonna do trains. I don't think it's gonna be big enough for that. You know, Black Mesa base having trains going around it would be pretty iconic, but I don't know if it's gonna be big enough for that. But either way, I want to have a map of the facility, different like color-coded paths you can take to get places. And also in the hub, I want to have a control room of sorts that can monitor and control all of the machinery in the facility. Not going to go into too much detail yet on how that's going to work, but if you're familiar with the most recent Create update, you probably already know what I'm talking about. Ooh.
That's gonna be my color palette this season.
And it'll be up on top of here?
Yeah.
Nice.
If you played Shovel Knight, it's just basically I'm taking inspiration from the Tower of Fate.
I'm looking it up.
There's not much to it. Like, I'm just based...
I see. Yeah, I see the vibe. I haven't decided on the palette for my base. I just have the vibe established.
You should go fully mechanized.
Oh, trust me. You know, I'll just tell you. My theme is Black Mesa.
I see.
Yeah, pickle. Oh. Pickle.
You pissed them off!
No!
I wish since this is the horn armor, I wish if you blew a horn it would give you buffs.
That would make a lot of sense.
Instead, that if I get hit by anything, it just gives me, like, strength 2 for, like, 15 seconds.
Mm.
Which is okay. You're not a threat, apparently. It didn't give me the strength.
I was deemed wholly unthreatening. With my bunny slippers.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot I had braziers. Damn. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely going in the build compilation.
That's going in my cringe compilation.
There's nothing organized here.
Yeah, same. Mine's like vaguely organized.
Except for the palette, the color palette.
Yes, which is very nice. There's where I want to build my base. There's like an amethyst geode directly in the way.
Damn.
So instead of destroying it, I think I'm gonna make it the centerpiece of my hub room.
Damn, that sounds cool.
I'm still working it out, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip away everything other than the budding amethyst, and then I'm gonna put chains and hang the budding amethyst from the ceiling, and then I'm gonna set up like a ring of enderic lasers to be shooting at the amethysts and harvesting fluxite from them.
That sounds interesting.
Hopefully it's gonna look fucking sick. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to making drills.
Sunbeam.
No. I'll get him back for this. One day, Grambler, you shall know my fury. It's a new day here on Pokepong, and I've been hard at work AFKing. That's right, I AFK'd all day, and I now have 70 blocks of iron, which is pretty good for now. It will certainly suffice for the time being. I also went ahead and did a bit of mining and got 2 stacks of mechanical drills. And these are what we're going to use to dig out the majority of the base. I also did a bit more thinking about the plan, and I've decided that I am going to go with the... Whoops, wrong button. I have decided that I am going to make this amethyst into a centerpiece for the hub. We're gonna, like, dangle the budding amethyst down on chains from the ceiling, and then I'm gonna set up lasers all around shooting at them, and I think it's gonna be really sick. So, for now... Oh. I was just so... so distracted by Becky getting processed. Anyways, for now, we need to design a machine to do some digging. Oh yeah. Now that is a mining machine. Big ol' 9x9 wall of drills. So, how does this thing work? We got a bunch of drills on the front. Obviously, those are going to mine out the blocks. On the back, got a bunch of barrels to store the blocks in. And this whole thing is mounted on a furnace minecart. And you may have noticed there's a little gap here at the front. So the way this is going to work is I will go down to the mining area. And I will lay out a minecart track along the length that I want mined out. And then all I have to do is place down the machine and power the minecart, and it'll just travel along the rail, mining out all the blocks until the rail ends. And it'll be significantly faster than doing it myself. So now I really just need to go and plan out the dig site, and we can start drilling. All right. Here we are, ready for the first test run. I've measured out a space around the geode to mine out. And we're just going to try to do a straight line up until this amethyst block. The goal is that it will mine, like, the layer that the amethyst is in, and then it will stop. So, let's get this thing going. Just power this to assemble it. It's already started digging, apparently. And here we go. Very smart, I promise. So what went wrong there? Well, as you can see, there is not a drill in front of the minecart. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did that on purpose so that I could just lay the rails out ahead of time, but it seems that is not going to work. Because the minecart just sails right on through, and the drills surrounding it do not stop the minecart to mine blocks. The only way that that is going to be possible is to block the minecart with a drill. That creates a new problem. How do we lay the rails out? What we're going to need to do is bring the minecart back and add in a deployer to place rails down in front of the minecart. And then we will limit the distance the minecart travels by only putting a certain number of rails into the deployer. So let's get on that. Here we are again. As you can see, I have placed the last drill, and I've added this little extension on the back. Got a deployer up here with a rail filter on it. Got rails in the hand, targeting the space in front of the minecart. The minecart has been extended off the back, so that as this drives along, rails will get placed in front of the minecart, and it just goes until it runs out. I have put 25 rails in the deployer, which should be one less than what is needed, because not entirely sure how this thing will behave, so just playing it safe. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Well, back to the drawing board, I guess. I have a theory that because this line of blocks is already mined out, that's why the minecart just kept going. Not totally sure, though, so we're gonna have to give it a try. Once more. Got a bunch of amethyst laid out here this time. And if this don't solve it, then I'm really stumped. Here we go. Okay, for this attempt, I have extended the minecart a block back even further, so the deployer has more time to place the rails. Let's give it a go. Nope. Okay. Alright, so it turns out that it was a bug with the current version of Create, and all I gotta do is just push the minecart by hand. Seems to be that if the minecarts are moving too fast, they start phasing through blocks. So, this is what I'm gonna be doing for a minute. And just like that, one giant section of the room is done. Alright. Went ahead and reverted the drill to its former glory and added this big panel here to just make it a big solid block. And I went ahead and mined out this side of the room. So I now have 2 tunnels mined out. And I'm just gonna get the rest of this done. Now that I'm looking at this, I realize I definitely should have started with the top part of the room, because I don't have a floor to put the mining machine on. Whoops. But that's alright. I will figure out a solution. And I'll check back in when it's done. done. With the room, at least. You may notice in the time lapse I modified the mining machine multiple times, because I had to, you know, mine out different sized areas and wasn't too big of a deal. The reason I just did this slice here is because the geode is actually on a 2x2 center. It was these 4 blocks here. And so the way I decided on making this block the 1x1 center of the room is I just cut the geode into it's like 4 quadrants, and this quadrant has the most budding blocks in it. So I made this one the center. Hopefully that made sense to someone. The takeaway, though, is that that's the center of the room, and the room is basically done. Eventually, I am going to need to strip away 1 more layer from each of the walls to actually replace them with blocks, but I really just don't feel like doing that right now. So that's gonna wait for another time. Because for now, I want to get the elevator set up, and I want to get all of my stuff on the surface transported, something down into this room. So earlier in the episode, I mentioned that the pumpkin here was going to be replaced with the shack that will house the elevator. I have since changed my mind on that, because if you look over here, the path going to our lovely spawn is coming in from the side that the pumpkin is on. And eventually, there is going to be a build up here, as marked by the birch planks. And I don't want the elevator to be the first thing that you encounter when you come in here. I want you to have to walk through the build to reach the elevator. So it's going to go at the back, which puts it right down here. Which actually works out very well. Because this is the short side of the room. So you enter from the short side, looking out into the room long ways. Then we're going to have a little, just, you know, a little fancy door here. And it goes all the way up into a little shack right there. Well, y'all know the drill. Oh, bro. And just like that, it's all been packed up and moved downstairs. Haven't bothered to set anything back up yet. It's all in these chests over here. But that will have to wait until next episode. Thank you all very much for watching if you made it this far. If you feel like leaving a like or a comment or even a subscription, it would be much appreciated. And hopefully, I'll see you next time. Bye!